photo de motivation for you. Why teach it's always a hot seat. Tell you about study politics.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Oh yeah, you poor like all right. That's what I say. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar, and
you will be queried.
For yes, please.
Query.
Yes, please.
Big query.
And it's you that will issue the query to yourself.
You know those sports trend. Why issue your query?
Okay, so like I said, I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. For everybody joining us for the very first time, welcome. Like we said, it's a bar. Literally just plenty gist. We talk about everything: sports, entertainment, politics. A lot of politics these days. Politics, sports, and everything in between. Everything in between can be anything in between. For people listening and watching, what you heard at the beginning was part of the everything in between. And so we're going to be talking about a lot of things today. Would I say a few things? First things first, I think that we're going to be talking a bit of tech, specifically tech companies. Seems like there's an issue going on. There's something that is going on, and what we tagged this part was, are tech companies falling on bad times? Like, what's really happening? I saw a tweet a few hours ago. I think I sent it to you. You should check it out, about the list of companies that are actually laying off. Tech companies that are laying off staff.
True.
It's very, very. It's interesting to actually see this thing. So yes, we're going to be talking about that briefly. Also, the NCC has something to say about apps, and I think that this is actually very, very good. It's needed. We need to hear more of these advisories from time to time. We know tech in the first place, or these apps have their good or bad side to it. Also, we're going to be talking about the EFCC chairman. The news broke, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, that he was supposed to be in jail, Kuje prison to be specific. We'll talk about that, and then there's an update from the police side and also from the EFCC itself. It's brought up a lot of questions. The case was still as far back as 2018. What happened to him? He was not even the FCC chairman then, and all that. So yeah, we're going to be talking about it. There's I don't know if it's a sad story, but there's a news that came up about a particular footballer that will not be playing at the World Cup. It was very, very. It's kind of sad when I heard about this. It's really someone that literally carries the whole team. It's not looking good for the team at all. So this and a few other things that pops up from time to time are the things that we're going to be talking about today.
Yes, it's actually always a pleasure to be back here at the bar, and we had the pleasure of the senior advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari as our guest at the Boom Bar about 2 days ago.
Yep.
It was a virtual interview, and Ajuri Ngulale, he was really dishing it out. Sadly, due to some technicalities, some parts of that interview might not have come out the way it should, especially on video. So we would like to apologize, because the bit of feedback, people are like, we can't hear the guests well, but we worked on it for the radio, and I think it got better and everything. So, but again, this is an opportunity to put it out there to say that we're sorry that those things happened the way they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, also, I wanted to. So basically, what I think I want to start from this. I don't know if you heard about Twitter.
Okay.
Twitter and its sack of a lot after Elon Musk took over the ownership of Twitter. I think it started with the directors. Then he just went on a sacking spree, and the latest
he deleted.
Yeah.
He deleted. Yeah. Yes.
And the latest set of people to be on that side
Africans.
of the knife or the axe is the African office of Twitter.
Yes.
We know that I think it was a few years ago. Why this is very interesting is because I remember vividly when there was announcement that it was going to be a Twitter office. There was going to be an African office of Twitter, and it was going to be in Ghana. And I think that a lot of Nigerians went up on the federal government that why was it in Ghana and why wasn't it in
Why did I miss Nigeria?
Exactly. And I'm wondering, like, there are a lot of other like really big countries that it would be. If I'm sure that we had talked about it if anybody would watch this video or something. Like South Africa is a bigger economy than Ghana. They're like at least 3, 4, 5 countries. There's Kenya, there's Egypt. You know that you would have thought. So if they chose,
a hub. It's always been a hub.
yeah. So if they chose Ghana, I'm sure they have their reasons, but I'm not sure it's because maybe Nigeria is not big enough or Nigeria is doing badly or whatever it is. That was the conversation then. And it's not like I'm mocking Ghana or anything. But now, according to report, the very first thing is that let me break it down to a lot of people. So after COVID and all that, for like over a year, the staff of the Twitter Africa had worked remotely. They've been remote for like over a year, and now on November 1 they were finally supposed to resume like the physical working environment, which they did. Then Friday, November 4th, they got to work and everybody
got a card.
Everybody. It was said that according to the text of the mail that is going around, according to CNN, it says that the company is reorganizing its operations as a result of a need to reduce costs. It is with regret that we're writing to inform you that employment is terminating as a result of this exercise. Your last day of employment will be December 4th, 2022. You'll be placed on garden leave until your termination date. The termination notice sent via email to them read. And now, it's also said that these particular letters, their work emails were deactivated immediately. Also, that this mail looked like it was just a generic one. It wasn't even addressed to them, and then it wasn't even like addressed to each person individually. It was compared to.
So we don't know if it's a fact or it's a fake paper.
No. They got the mails.
Okay.
It just sounded very impersonal, according to the report.
That's if you juxtapose with the kind of mails that the Twitter staff got in the US.
In the US, yes.
Okay.
Also, there was also talks of the mails that the people that got laid off in the US and other countries, that there were talks of their severance and all that. There was no talks of anything.
So this was just, hey, stop,
go, stop working, and that's it.
And go,
and that's it. That was all. There was like no form of. I don't understand. I don't know what to call it.
Okay.
And as of now, according to report, Twitter is laying off 50% of its staff worldwide. But this Ghanaian one is very, very sad because I know it was a big deal. It was really a big deal for Ghana, for I think Africa as a whole, yeah? And then it's almost like we keep seeing stories, we keep seeing situations where we keep getting disrespected over and over and over and over again.
You know, there's something you just pointed out about the disrespect. And you know, disrespect comes in different forms and shades. I have been in situations where, or environments where, people have been so badly condescended upon in every way of life, and they do it with such, you know, bravado, such clarity of comfortability around them. And it's all about the money, really. It's all about the money. It's all about who owns what. I must confess to you, when this story of Elon Musk buying over things, I saw this coming. I just didn't know where the first punch would land. I saw it coming because you are in a state where people are being laid off, and and that's not new. It's not new. Something new has happened to a big organization, a structure. The structures are going to change. People will move. If either they move up or move out or ship out or ship them in, something has to move. And because it's so capitalistic, there's some bourgeoisie positioning about the structure of that huge organization. And the question you ask yourself first and foremost is, as a black man, as a colored person, you find yourself working in that environment. If you have what it takes, you are in that position to tell them, I got the stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I'm working here. Now, let me take you back to when Ghana was brought into the circle for that, let's use the word appointed, or discovered to be part of that dream. Many people came back home and threw stones at government people. And said it was because of the fact that we were not well positioned. And we were not, that's the reason why we were not well respected. Now, why should such a big deal pass by us? And nobody said anything. So I have seen all these things about positioning. It's just cultural values, where things, it's all about money. We belong. Let's belong. And when you are belonging to something that you do not own, there's a lot of concerns in my mind about that. I'm not shocked about these changes. I'm not shocked about this repositioning. I'm not also shocked that the owner is doing this or thinking that. Because even from the client where he controls, people also have some subtle mindset about everything that is happening around him.
Well, if we go a little bit backwards, if you take a look at Twitter as it was then, under the management of the former founder or former co-founder Jack Dorsey, they were doing okay and they were making money. Twitter is not the only social media app out there, In fact, it might be the only micro blog, because its unique feature then was that it was 140 characters. Before he doubled it to, I think, 240 or something.
280.
Or something like that.
No,
280. I know.
It's like Instagram.
Sure, you get it. So the thing is,
everybody calls it.
The thing is, the uniqueness of Twitter made it succeed. Like, everybody wanted to be on Twitter. If that is the case, and taking into cognizance the fact that they were making money, the company didn't come out to announce a loss, because in the kind of environment where they function, if they were not doing well, they would have to announce it, and the world would know. So it's not as if Elon Musk took over a poor company. He took over a company that was doing well. He bought it because the company was doing well. And I feel that if you study the guy a teeny weeny bit, just look into his style, you will understand that he is your businessman's businessman. He knows how to turn businesses around. So in downsizing his business and doing all of these things, it's all about the profit at the end of the day. What he's saying is, whatever profit that Jack Dorsey and the other guy that took over from Jack Dorsey, the Paraga, Nigerians like to call him Paraga, please, no vex if that's not the proper name. If you check, you understand why they call him Paraga. So the guy that took over and all that, they were doing okay still. Twitter was not losing money, I repeat. But the businessman that has invested over $40 billion, over $40 billion of his own money. Before buying the company, has already laid out a plan. He knew that he was going to downsize. And you see, like you pointed out, Tokunbo, it's a normal trend in business. When people come in, they change management, they do all sorts of things. Some mergers or acquisitions don't go that way. Some are just left the way it is, intact. Like, you know what, keep doing what you're doing. But in the case of Elon Musk, he also uses Twitter for several things. He has always been of the opinion that, you know, some of the regulations that Twitter had put in place were too harsh and too draconian. So he felt that relaxing some of those things would work. For instance, the decision to ban former US President Donald Trump did not sit down well with him. And I get that. Even if someone has a dissenting voice, you should still be able to listen to those voices. But Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and all of them actually had to clamp down on Trump because they knew he was just telling lies. Like, it got to a point where, and they knew that those lies would incite.
We would incite
so
things. That
rather than remove him permanently, I felt that they should have used the existing laws, not create something for the unique situation that they found themselves with Donald Trump. And when it's your turn, it's your turn. Before Facebook became a thing, there was it i5 or, you know, there were one or two other ones. There was i5, remember?
i5.
And there was this, but it was Facebook's turn, you know, to become what it has become now. It wasn't even created for the old world. It was a school thing.
Yeah.
But look at where we are today. You understand? So when it was Twitter's turn to really blow, Instagram and now TikTok, that's what you see. There's Snapchat. Snapchat will probably never catch on amongst a certain demographic. But the people who use Snapchat,
they use it.
They use it. Now there's YouTube that we're streaming on YouTube live now. If you're not watching, go and watch us, you know. Please and subscribe, leave a comment. But there are newer platforms now coming up trying to rival them. So if you take all of this into cognizance, everybody's chasing the same market. And that's why an Elon Musk threw his money into it. And in doing that, he has a plan. The capitalist would always look at minimal input, maximum output. But what is minimal in over 40 billion? You know? What's minimal in over 40 billion? Someone had said once that if you wanted to acquire teams in the Premiership, you might end up acquiring the entire Premier League. And these are teams that are paying people and making people millionaires. That's how big Twitter is.
Yeah, I agree with you, Shola. My concern though is that when you give the rich man, so to speak, the opportunity to come into any big business, right? He has seen the figures from the start, has also seen the figures at the end.
True.
But all these guys, everybody's in between. I like the way we use in between, everything in between.
Yeah.
Every human being working within the scope, in between that scope, is probably not privy to the plan. But here is it. Oh, here it is. The way we look, we take these things, it moves with culture. And acceptance also will depend on the way we see it when it's being, you know, planned or being mapped out. I said something earlier that the way when he walked in with his billion whatever, I stood back and I said something is about to shake. Okay, now in shaking an organization, I'm not too good in the organizational structures, but there are some things that must happen before you are given a letter of exit.
Yeah, that's I think that's it for me. There's some lack of respect.
What are those things exactly?
There's like it's almost like you just don't care. Because I watched a report where someone was talking about how it's almost like they're obliged to do some of these things because of the existing labor laws in other countries like in the US and all that. but that what are the labor laws in Ghana, and what is obtainable there, and is it committing an offense? That's the problem. That are the laws actually there to protect employees? So that's the problem for me. Like, it's I think that it's unfair, especially when, okay, so why did you ask them to resume on November 1 when obviously you knew that by November 4th you were going to lay them off?
Yeah, they
collect.
still have to resume.
They have to resume.
You know, life has to go back to normal.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they are done to stop people from coming is a security thing. It's a smart move. In a behemoth that is Twitter, as big as it is and all of that, there will be aggrieved people. There will be people who will be looking to steal, you know, data or information or sabotage the system. There'll be all of that. So what you do is to arrest that before it happens. Catch them unawares. Okay, everybody go home. My lolly, go and rest.
No, I just honestly feel that
so
it's a lot though.
No, but he had to do what he had to do. Now,
how he went by it is the problem I have. People lay people off.
But that's what
normal.
Yeah, but that's what a business person of his
so
status
are you saying
would
that
do.
they do not deserve severance? Are you sure? Are you saying?
What are we talking? The people in the US are gonna get 3 months.
The ones in Ghana don't know if they're going to get, because there's nothing about it.
There's a blackout about the African country.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's a blackout.
Maybe with this kind of discussions and all of that, maybe it will get to his ears and it will do the right thing.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to own a company that is a global concern and treat the set of workers, even the ones in America, are still complaining. Some people are going to sue him. They're talking about suing him and all of that. I don't know if they're going to go ahead with it.
They will.
If you're going to lay off people in America because you're downsizing, you're supposed to use the same system across board. So I'm not supporting what he has done to the Ghanaian workforce of Twitter. I do not support what he has done. I'm just saying that it is what it is for a businessman. It's looking at the bottom line. You get. Again, it's going to end up telling you that the business didn't even need a Ghanaian or African office. That's what it's going to come to.
It's very possible. My own is just that.
So
treat people.
What is fair is fair. I agree.
It.
Look, I was even focusing on what happened in the US, where, you know, the way he went about it, that, you know, they asked people to stop coming to work at some point. They sure did some funny things, yeah. So at the end of the day, Elon Musk is still about the profit. No matter what he says.
He's looking at the figures, yes, you're right.
Always about the profit,
and this might make or break him. This is not the first business that he's acquiring, but this might make or break him. And why am I saying it? If you look it up now, people are dumping shares in his other companies.
They are?
Yes. It's affecting his Tesla and co. You can actually look it up quickly before we move on. You understand? And why are people doing that? Some of the reasons that are being given by, you know, shareholders is concentration on Twitter. Like, they are afraid that the other businesses might suffer.
Might suffer of it.
I've seen several videos of people who work with him. They have a factory, I think, somewhere in Germany, and they talked about how he would come through and sleep in the office.
Who does sleep?
Elon Musk, as rich as he is, as big as he is, he comes to work and he doesn't go home. He ends up sleeping on the floor or on the couch or somewhere because he's overworking. Do you get? And I've seen a lot of people say different things.
Sorry, I have to put that into it.
Yeah.
Now my concern is this: we're not in this guy's mind. Yeah. I doubt if he actually went for the purchase of that big organization because he wanted more money.
I think he's a businessman. I honestly think it's just money. It's a very viable company.
You think he went into it for the passion, for the love of free speech?
Free speech?
No, because
like he's been talking about.
$44 billion.
Because somehow along the line there's going to be a negative reverberation of his already known intention. which is what you brought out now that we are still trying to, develop and find out facts about it. The Tesla thing and few other companies, okay, that he has or owns, okay, there will be a rippling effect across the board. There definitely will be a rippling effect across the board. We may not be strong enough to find out how many people are already. Yeah, go ahead.
There's an headline just to point out from Yahoo Finance. Tesla's post Twitter sell-off pushes stock to 17-month low.
Came down 17 months.
17-month low.
Okay.
So,
that's how much is.
Do you see the effect of him buying Twitter?
It's dipping now, It's dipping,
He has, in fact, his value as the richest man in the world has dropped.
It has really dropped. But anyway, before let's move on quickly.
Sorry, before you move on, I'm sorry. I just need to also put this out. This is a discussion that we had a couple of hours ago. Still staying with Elon Musk and all these issues and things that we're talking about. On the flip side also, free speech might still need to be regulated. And it might end up reverting, because now a couple of people are leaving the app.
They are leaving the app.
People are saying things like they can't stand it anymore.
No control.
Even with regulation, Twitter is a toxic place.
It can be very toxic. Exactly.
It is.
So that's the issue
now
I have with free speech.
You open the whole stadium up for everybody.
For everybody, and in the bid to say, okay, it's free speech. You see people say hateful things. You see people say all sorts of vile things just because all under the umbrella of free speech. Exactly. We need that. There's no how at the end of the day. Everything needs regulation. Also talking about sacking people and all that. Meta has today announced that they're sacking about 11,000. Meta is the parent company of Facebook that owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and I think Giphy.
They're also sacking.
Yeah, about 11,000. That's about 13% of their what's the word now?
Workforce.
Of their workforce. And goes back to my very first question in the first place. That what exactly is happening with the tech business? The tech companies. Somebody had tweeted, had said that just this month alone, Twitter has laid off 50% of its staff. Cameo has laid off 25%. Robinhood 23%. Intel 20%. Snapchat 20%. Coinbase 18%. OpenDoor 18%. Stripe 14%. Lyft 13%. Of course, most recently Meta 13%, Shopify 10%. Apple and Amazon are not laying off people, but they're not.
There's a freeze.
There's a freeze on hiring anybody.
People.
And even Meta, that we are talking about now, with laying off 11,000, which Dolupo pointed out as 13% of their global workforce. They spread it across the globe, right?
Okay.
In doing that, they have also put a freeze on new hiring. So it's not just that they are laying people off, they do not intend to hire any new person to the workforce.
Now,
and look at the long list of tech companies.
This month alone.
I was about to say that. But are you going to tell me that it's an aftermath or fallout of the sacks coming from Elon Musk's
No, I don't think so. I think that generally there is I don't want to call it a glut. There's been a lot of fall. It is a glut. There's been a fall in stock prices and all that of tech companies, and also it happens when it's about demand and supply. Basically, I think that there's a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of money that was really put into tech. Tech became our new gold. In fact, we know even in Nigeria, tech was literally responsible for bringing Nigeria out of recession.
It was
last year or something. I think that a lot of money was pumped into it. A lot of people.
Are we getting off the phase of tech?
I don't think we're getting off the face. I think that this would probably be needed to stabilize it. I think it needed stability.
In analyzing it, we would avoid generalizing, because we looked at Twitter in depth and looked at what they've done. 50% of their global workforce is gone.
It's gone already.
Right? But apparently, as far back as June, Meta had said it planned to cut 30% of its workforce. 30. So if we're analyzing and saying that 11,000 laid off, amounts to 13%, that means there's an impending layoff of at least, another.
To make up to that number.
Yeah, to make up the 30% that they are projecting.
To make up the projection.
So again, in September, the founder said some things that I want to quickly quote.
Yeah.
He announced a pause in hiring in September. That's Mark Zuckerberg. And he hinted at further downsizing. That was in September, and we're in November now. And this is a direct quote from him. There are probably a bunch of people at the company who shouldn't be here. I had hoped the economy would have more clearly stabilized by now. But from what we are seeing, it doesn't seem like it has. So we want to plan somewhat conservatively. And this is what he told
that's what again.
the staff directly. He said then there's something about them being worried that their investors, are also shifting focus in a way, and of course this would impact negatively on the business. Their stock has plunged 71%.
Yeah, 71.2% in the
This
last
year.
12 months. It's very interesting that following this announcement, the
71.
stock actually went up by 4.5% in
After
less than
sacking
24
people.
After sacking
hours.
people.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I said that I feel that there was a lot of
These are
money,
business decisions.
There was a lot of money. There was a lot of human personnel that went into the tech business that I'm not sure that it was needed that much at that point in time.
At that time.
So it needs to stabilize at some point. Some of it is obviously not looking good for a lot of people, but I think that it was needed. I remember I was talking to him that someone had said, I'd read a tweet that someone was like that, if you're in the tech now, make your money a lot now, and then make sure you find something else you're doing.
That was what I said.
Because
Yeah,
at
go
some
ahead.
point, there's going to be, and we're already seeing that happen already.
The phase of tech is
So-
facing down.
So the first people to always know are the big guys, the Twitters and the Facebooks.
who spend the money?
They're the first to know what the future holds.
Remember,
you get
something like this happened with the banking system.
Oh yes. Yes.
It-
My mind went there
even
too.
even in IT,
True.
it had happened before. This is not the first time that there is a glut of talent.
Okay.
Now, as we speak now, the entire value chain of tech businesses is receiving a large number of people on a daily. People are leaving their regular jobs, their regular backgrounds, and their regular trainings to go and work in IT. In this country alone, I know of, or I've heard and know of collectively at least 12 people who have gotten employment outside Nigeria, and not to talk of the ones that are actually working remotely here.
Yeah.
This is a fallout of COVID-19 and the lockdown that showed us a new way of business, and people need to understand this, that some companies will never be the same again. They've looked at it and they're saying how they can still pay their staff the same salary or even less and get them to work and deliver on all the deliverables. So they start to look at the bottom line. Why do we need this 10-story building if we can get X number of people to do it? And they start looking at that, okay, we'll give you money for data and this and that. Go get the job done. So this will affect a lot of businesses. That is one, the backlog of the COVID. Two, the fact that everybody's thronging there, everybody's rushing there, would create some kind of imbalance.
Exactly.
And there are now going to be fewer jobs and more people. And
I
what
think
that
that's
means
what's
is that there's
happening.
going to be a crash.
Really.
That's what it means. Now, we're not prophets of doom, but if you open your eyes and your mind, you will see that this is what is happening.
It will happen.
You know, so there's a lot of people
It will
going into tech, and there's nothing wrong with it because they acquire the knowledge. You know, they learn different aspects of the business. But everybody still is still trying to get employed, or they're still trying to be the next whiz kid that creates some app or some.
Yeah.
Look at how many payment solutions we have now. Everybody is trying to, you know, and
The
because
innovations are huge.
yeah, but the
Huge.
same thing is at times it's just a replica of what someone has done somewhere.
But one will be better than the other.
Yes, very possibly. But it gets to a head, and when
Yeah,
it gets
true.
to a head, this is what's going to happen.
True.
You know, so this is some kind of a wake up call of sorts to say, do not put all your eggs in one basket.
One basket, yeah.
You know, and
I-
start to be creative
Yeah.
about it too.
Yeah, I remember the banking thing that Durupo mentioned the other time. When that thing happened, then guys who were in charge of banking organizations started seeing the need for less need though for people who will man the lifts. Example, they started seeing the need, to make people multitask in different ways. So these are rearrangements that probably had been appearing wasteful for a while, and they are coming together now is to make it work better, sharper, and with a lot more effect in terms of making money. But boils down to the numbers. The numbers carry the
It's
weight.
the numbers. It's the numbers.
Numbers.
The weight, they carry the
So
weight.
anyway, till before we finally leave tech, there's an advisory that popped out today. Funny enough, it's the first time I think I'm seeing of it from NCC, which is I think it's a very what's the word now? It's a very good development. It's a very welcome development. Now they have released an advisory talking about some mobile apps that people should not download from your app store. Specifically, they're saying that mobile applications from Mobile Apps Group, that's what I think the parent company of the owners of those apps. It said that the group have been discovered to release apps containing trojans and adware that have been harmful to users and their privacy. According to the Nigeria Computer Emergency Response Team, they're saying that Mobile Apps Group, like they have apps that include Bluetooth Auto Connect, Bluetooth App Sender, Driver, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and USB, and Mobile Transfer and Smart Switch. That these apps basically steal your data, like it is officially now that these apps, specifically from Mobile Apps Group, that these people steal your data. And this reminds me of, I remember, was it last year or it was a few years ago, where there was a particular app, I think Camera 360 or something funny like that, that everybody was downloading. This is supposed to help you take nicer pictures and all that. And then I remember that there was conversation around it then that people should stop downloading it, that app basically stole
the one that go ahead.
data from your phone, from online and all those things. And I'm like, I think this is very good. One really needs to be careful. As much as, like you said, there's so many tech options there's so many apps to do this and that. There's literally an app for everything now these days, but we actually need to be careful. It's not everything that we need.
I just want to add this quickly to say and to remind people that not all that glitters is
I agree.
is good, because you have to be very careful. If care isn't taken, I don't know. I raised this. It's not a prediction. It's not a prophecy. It's just my thought years ago, and I said that the beginning of the social platform is probably going to see the end of a lot of things when it comes to ingenuities. People are going to be very, very geniusly creative about things that it will be so negative and have a negative impact in the life we live over time. Anybody who's done this, for example, this group app thing, will be clapping in the corner of the room that, look, I'm a brain.
They're
I
probably
did
selling
that.
those apps to
And they're
some,
selling those apps off.
those
Yeah, they are. Now, what they have done is just to inform us. Is there anything that can be done to help manage this thing? You know, because you are informing us. Yeah, I agree. I understand that. Because if it's like a virus,
Yeah, they don't.
It's
They
like a
don't
virus.
own the Apple Store. They don't own the Google Play Store. So maybe until those people actually kick those apps off their store, there's really nothing anybody can do now unless the only thing to tell you is don't download them. And the honest truth is, if you don't download them, you don't have an issue.
We are in interesting times, and again, we do not intend to condemn completely, because there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're in a space now where technology can be used for good or bad. There's Web3 now. That's, there's the metaverse that a lot of us have not even started looking into,
Yeah.
but it's here already. That's one of the reasons why even the parent company for Facebook changed its name to Meta.
Meta.
There's the metaverse. There's the dark web that a lot of people don't get to talk about. And the dark web is the black market of the finance world.
Okay.
Where you know that in Nigeria, officially, if you're lucky, you buy dollars for 400 plus naira to $1. But if you really, really want to buy the dollar now, it's 800 and something naira.
Okay.
And so you can imagine
That's the black
that
web.
version of the internet. So a lot of people are saying the internet is bad. It's a dangerous place. You have not seen dangerous. The dark web.
Oh, the dark web is another world.
It's
on
a
its
different
own.
world entirely. So in all, we need this kind of advisories,
Yeah.
and it's actually a great thing that a federal government, agency or ministry is spearheading this charge now. We also need to educate ourselves more and
Yeah.
more. You said something very powerful and profound, and it's not a new saying, but I will reiterate it. Not all that glitters is gold.
It's gold.
You're downloading some apps for this
And
particular
they're helping
purpose,
you do this.
but trust me, it's something else
Something else is
entirely.
happening behind
You know,
it.
and I think that a lot of times too, we need to be sensitive to a lot of things. As little as cookies, I remember that. I think it was even a show that I was watching. That literally, this guy was a tech guy, and then he was not going to be around for like a few days. And then he literally sat his wife down and was schooling her on the things not to do on his computers. And then he go that, do not accept any cookies. And then he was like, literally, but to me, yes, it was just a show I was watching.
Yeah, but it's tough.
But it stuck. And then he gave reasons why. And I'm like, wow. Then I went to actually look
Check it out.
look through it, and it was actually right. It was a learning process for me. That was what I took off that place, and from then I now realize that literally everything you open has cookies.
Everything.
So those are little things that we need to.
And it also has a way of affecting other people who are connected to
Oh
it.
yes. We really just need to be careful. As much as tech, all these things help make life easier, there's also downsides to all these things.
Just be careful.
Yes, just be careful at the end of the day. Also, wow, we spend a lot of time on tech issues today. So quickly, the EFCC is in the news, and this one, why it's in the news is because barely 24 hours ago, the news broke about how the EFCC chairman is supposed to be remanded in Kuje prison. Yeah, and the first time you see that, they're like, how now? What did he do? Now, for people that do not know, There was a case in 2018 when he was not even the EFCC chairman, that the court had ordered them to return a car and 40 million naira to a particular, I think, defendant, which that order had not been carried out.
Yeah, that's Air Vice Marshal Rufus Adeniyi Ojuawo.
Okay.
He was a one-time director of operations at the Nigerian Air Force.
So,
Okay.
for that reason, he now took them back to court, and now the judge has said that because you literally cannot arrest EFCC, the person in charge of EFCC is the person to be arrested.
Okay.
So because EFCC is in contempt of court for not carrying out the court order, the EFCC chairman is going to jail.
Representing
EFCC is going to jail until the court order is fully carried out.
At least somebody has to be locked up.
But the question is, yes, I know I was having this conversation yesterday and about how there is their handover note, so he should have known that that case was not done and dusted.
Yeah.
But can you just send somebody to jail for not knowing nothing about it?
Apparently, you can.
You can.
Yeah, because if it wasn't
Can.
possible, the judge wouldn't have done it. Apparently, you can. Government is a continuum. The EFCC as an entity is not tied to the apron strings of one individual or belongs to someone who might be immune to such. It's not. So it's a tough one,
Tough one.
but
really.
on the long run, it's a good thing for our judiciary that within the confines of the law, which is one of my favorite phrases now, they can actually send the EFCC chairman to jail. No, I'm not gloating that he's going to jail.
No, you
or
won't
he went
gloat.
to jail.
You won't gloat.
I'm saying that subsequently,
Yes.
even the current person, Bauer, or anybody that replaces him, will now take these things more serious. Like if a judge has issued, say, a bench warrant, for instance, if you don't enforce it, it's your problem until the day it bounces back
It
on
bounces
you.
back on you.
I personally, I think you're right, Shola. You are right. It's not even a thought. You are right. But on the flip side, it's going to make a lot, many things work better within organizations and government institutions. Over time, we have been recalcitrant over some issues. Jolupo mentioned handing over the other time. And it's important that people who are highly placed should understand what it is to hand over. The continuum has to be. You cannot do anything on a new seat without asking for what happened on that chair or that seat when you came before you came in. People need to understand that government works differently.
Speaking about handing over, this is the same country where a governor who has spent over 7 years came out to announce that they discovered an entire aircraft that belongs to the state parked somewhere in Europe.
Europe, yeah.
So you start to ask, is an aircraft a mobile phone charger
And that you forget.
that is so small that you can think it's inconsequential?
Or missed the way to
You know?
land in a wrong place or
Oh,
something.
there was a reason why it was even taken
Yeah.
there for whatever reasons, or it was just acquired and they left it there, whatever reason. But the story is, was it captured in your handover notes? And if it was, how come this governor that is now talking about it did not discover 7 years ago?
Exactly. Exactly.
So if this happens, it shows you the human angle to think, like the foibles and the failings that we bring into governance, system maintenance, and business as a whole.
Absolutely.
That we're supposed to create systems that will work seamlessly
Seamlessly. Yeah.
from person to person, from system to system, that it just flows. So if they can forget a whole plane, aeroplane,
Balu.
is it court case of releasing of building that they won't forget. Do you understand? It's not an excuse. But when you start to hold them,
it is not
you know, by the jugular, then they're gonna get serious.
They must be accountable.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Now according to the FCC chairman, he specifically said that we're talking to journalists. He said that the law will take its course, obviously, but that they have appealed the case. Also talking with the police, because according to the court judgment, the judge had ordered the Inspector General of Police to ensure the order of the court was executed. Now the police, as of today, have said that they have not gotten the court order yet, because I'm guessing there's some paperwork that has to be done. So they're saying they haven't gotten a court order yet. So
let's wait a
guessing
while. Let's wait a while.
Nobody's getting arrested yet.
Let us wait a while.
Yeah. Okay. Quickly before we go, news broke today that Sadio Mane is not going to the World Cup.
And why?
He's injured. Isn't that like just
I would have said
heart-shattering news?
I would have said village people.
It's heart-shattering
But
news.
the man pays the salary of everybody in
He's
his
village.
So this one's
it's not village.
It's not village people.
Oh my God.
Village people don't show face.
Oh no, this
one is not village people. This one.
It was really hard.
This one is targety,
Oh
like the real enemies of progress. The man, to me, is one of the best footballers out there. He is a workhorse. Every team that he plays in, he gives 150% all the time.
Very committed. Yes.
And if anybody deserves to go to
It's
this
him.
World Cup, it's Sadio Mane. He virtually carried this team on his back and he
through
did
the
whole lot.
whole AFCON, the qualifiers. Oh yeah. It's
So
fantastic.
It's an extremely sad situation to find that Sadio Mane, after everything
that happened,
that he's done, won't be going to the World Cup. It's Africa's loss, actually. It's not just its country that's going to be on
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's Africa's loss, because they are one of our best teams going into the Qatar 2022 World Cup. And I don't know, it's painful for me also seeing that it's a player
it was really hurtful.
It's a player that I
actually
like a lot.
It's sad.
You really joking. It was really
Magical.
sad. I'm still talking about the World Cup. It's obvious that there are a lot of people that are not going. I saw a list today that they were talking about people that were not called up, or there are a lot of people that you would have loved to see at the World Cup, but their countries are not even going. So there's really, so imagine if you see someone like an Erling Haaland. Unfortunately, he's not going. And not because he's not good enough, his country did not qualify.
But of course, it's a team representation.
Yeah. Also, there's the angle of there are other countries like Wales that have not been there like about 60 years. That are finally going. Yeah, you know, it's going to be a very interesting World Cup this year. Very interesting one. We're seeing how a 39-year-old was called up, which I don't understand.
and that's from a country like Brazil.
Brazil that did not take
has the largest talent pool when it comes to football.
And even that, their whole team call up self is very interesting. It's very.
I think we should just wait and see.
Anyway,
I'm excited.
Quickly before we go, finally, we know that President Buhari is in London. He's in the United Kingdom, specifically. I think he's in Britain. So they said that he's supposed to meet with King Charles today. The specifics are not there, but you know, use one bird to kill two stones. You are cuckoo there anyway. Why not if not?
Shout out to Charlie, formerly known as Omoya Charlie, now known as Charlie. Sorry, Charlie.
Are you kidding me?
Shout out to Charlie and
King Charles III, please.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know he was the one you were referring to.
Yeah, he
So
was. And then you had to say Charlie.
No.
You had to add Charlie.
To help him out of
Eh.
it.
Oh God.
I actually didn't need your help. Thank you.
Wow. See.
It's
See,
alright.
like, see.
Yeah, he's about to sell out now. Instead of me to say we're in it together, say help me.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
No. Anyway, which is no way.
Somebody's to deliver something.
Mr.
but did not
President
deliver.
of Nigeria, congratulations on your meeting with Actually, but let it translate to Naira and Kobo.
I
Like for instance,
I
ask
like
them
that.
now, our property in their hand, they should release it. Release our properties.
I like that.
Let it translate to what concern me
I'm looking
and you.
forward to that.
Okay.
Me, I'm not looking forward to. I'm just looking forward
Looking
to
forward to it.
improve economy.
Anyway, the 73-year-old monarch today was actually narrowly escaped being egged today.
Here in Nigeria.
Can
No,
you
no.
please? Yes, go ahead. Please.
He narrowly escaped. He and his queen consort narrowly.
Oh, you're talking about King
What
Charles?
Oh yeah, King Charles.
Okay.
Yeah. He narrowly escaped being egged today at North England.
I don't like violence,
Why?
and I don't endorse that.
I don't.
That's not nice.
As
North London.
the incident, it said there, it was heard that the man was shouting, "This country was built on the blood of slaves and not my king,"
Oh.
before he was detained by several police officers. But you could actually protest and not egg the whole king. Like, what exactly is your plan? What do you think you are going? Okay, or you are planning to be arrested? Maybe that's where it's going to. You know,
Yeah,
some people actually
probably.
want to be arrested.
Probably.
Some people want to taste how inside of a jail, what's it called?
Making the news headlines.
Yeah,
For-
exactly.
For the wrong thing.
Exactly. So on that note, that is all we have to take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you all the news that is available at the bar with a little bit of drink and a bit of gist, you know, and with a little of, small
Have
quiz.
a nice day, everybody.
Why? Okay, I don't like what you're doing. And see, shout out to everybody for people that do not know.
Don't go there.
I would.
Don't go there.
I would.
Don't
So,
go
it was his
there.
birthday yesterday.
la,
Happy
la.
birthday to you.
La,
Happy
la,
birthday
la,
to
la,
you.
La la
Happy
la
birthday,
la la
Tokubo.
Tokubo.
Happy
La, la, la,
birthday to
Tokumbo.
you. See you tomorrow.
Oh.